But going back to Israel, I24NEWS correspondent SHAPIRA traveled to Amona, a small outspot in the West Bank, 9 years after the evacuation of 9 houses there sparked controversy in Israel. Now, when the High Court has decided to evacuate the entire outspot, the head of Amona and a candidate for the Jewish Home Party, Avihai Boaron, is pointing blame at the authorities who backed the settlers in the past.
Avihai Boaron, the chairman of Amona headquarters, will never forget February 1st, 2006, when thousands of police officers evacuated and demolished 9 houses in the small Jewish outpost located in the heart of the West Bank. The evacuation was carried out after the Israeli High Court ruled that the houses were built on Palestinian land. It took place only several months after Israel pulled out of the Gaza Strip, another stinging defeat for the settlers and the right wing. Thousands of people came to support the settlers of Amona. As a result, more than 200 people were wounded, including 80 security officers. Even 9 years later, Boaron justifies the settlers' actions against the authorities.
I saw 2 military officials, and I told them, listen, if you won't take a step back, there will be casualties. We didn't plan it. We were like a child who fights against his father, who tries to take something from his hands, and the kid knows that his father will succeed, but still he stomps his legs. We didn't know where it will end.
Unfortunately for Boaron, the High Court issued an even harsher ruling several weeks ago that the entire outpost must be evacuated within 2 years. The decision was taken after a long and fierce legal battle led by the Yesh Din human rights organization, which represented Palestinians who claimed the land on which Amona was built was taken from them by force in the mid-1990s.
The state presented aerial photos from the first part of the 90s and the 80s, proving that the area was cultivated by the Palestinian owners.
However, Boaron says the lands were deserted when the Jewish settlers arrived.
The lands were not stolen from anyone. No one was here before we showed up. As you can see behind me, the hills are empty.
After losing his campaign in court, Boaron tried to find another way to save the outpost. He ran for a spot on the list of candidates for the Jewish Home, a party which calls for the annexation of Area C in the West Bank. But he only made number 17 on the list, considered possibly not high enough to put him in parliament after the March 17 elections. Nevertheless, Boaron still believes he and his friends can keep his home.
Zionism is stronger than a false court decision.
The traumatic images of 2006 still echo in the hills of Amona. It seems unavoidable that similar, if not even stronger images may appear in 2016. But none of this worries Boaron and his friends, who continue to stand on this high hill, in their view, above the Supreme Court.
And now to sports.